So welcome back. We're now going to talk about pitch. P-I-T-C-H. And pitch is how high or low the music is. I should have said, what does rhythm mean? Well, rhythm is when you do things in music. So if we look back to what we did earlier, those are at a certain point in time. Like this one's on the 3rd beat, that one's on the 3.5 beat, for example. So in other words, that's when they're played. Pitch is all about how low or how high the note is. So on my piano, I've got notes that are really low and notes that are really high, like that. And so you need to now learn how to write those down, and it's not so bad. The first thing I'm going to show you is a treble clef. And you might like to practice doing that. Start just below this line here, and then you go up, round, over, down, and a little tick on the bottom. In fact, that one, that's better. That's the right place. But try drawing 10 of those. Pause the video and draw me 10 treble clefs. Okay, so you've done your clefs, and now what is a treble clef? If you've learned an instrument, you'll know. If you're unfamiliar, I'll explain. It tells you which note is which on the 5 lines. These 5 lines are known as a stave, 5 lines of a stave. And when you've got a treble clef, it tells you which note is which. And in fact, the treble clef is basically a decorated G. Can you see the G sort of in there? All right, well, maybe not, but there's your G, and it tells you that a note on that line there would be G. All right. Now, the next one down is a space, so that's F, E, D, and then I need to add a little extra line called a ledger line to give me C. But there is G, F, E, D, C. Or if I play them, whoops, that's not that one. There we are. This C here has a particular name. We call that middle C. Middle C occurs right in the middle of the piano. And it's a kind of a certain pitch that is kind of, really well known as a particular place, kind of in the middle musically. If you were to then go further, so we'll take middle C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Whoops, that's rubbish. C. Notice that it only goes up to G. Musicians, struggle with the alphabet, to be honest, so we only go up to G. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and that is a scale. We call that a scale of C. We won't talk about scales too much today, but that's how that sounds on the piano. So a scale of C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And that is all the notes we're going to think about for the minute. So write that out now, please. Okay, moving on. What do we do with all of these? Well, if our music is in C, that means that C needs to be the most important note. So if I was to write a melody, let's do our 2 bars again, and we'll do our time signature of 4/4. I need to make sure that if my melody is going to be in C, it needs to finish with a C. Okay? And so let's just do a little melody just using crotchets only. And I'm going to make a crotchet there on C, and I'm just going to put one there, and I'll put one there, I'll put one there. Oh, Let's put one there, and then we'll go there, and then we'll go there, and finally we'll go for C. Notice, by the way, that my sticks go up if it's less than halfway up the stave, and down if it's more than halfway up the stave. So this one I did wrong, see? I'll just change that. There we are. And so I've got 8 notes there: C, B, F, A, D, E, A, C. And you'll hear that that's quite a random melody. Have a listen. Let's just see if I can play it with and see what I'm doing. Here we go. As melodies go, I hope you'll agree that one was rubbish. Okay, so now I'm going to do another melody which will work better, and then I'll explain why it sounds better. Again, I'm going to put in my 2 bars, and I'm going to finish on C, but this time I'm going to lead to C by going to B. And we actually call that the leading note. It leads back to C. Also, I'm going to start on middle C, but this time I'm going to use a mixture of notes which are next to each other and ones that are not. And you'll find I'm actually going to go slightly over to go to D. And this note, this melody here is going to be C, D, E, G, A, D, and then B, C. Remember that note leading back to C. And let's just have a listen to how that one sounds. And the reason that melody sounded so much better was because I'm using a mixture of what we call conjunct, that's notes that are next to each other notes, and small leaps as well. So that's why scales are very important. Remember we talked about the scale of C there, because melodies are made out of scales. If in doubt, use a bit of a scale. Something else that's interesting is that if a melody looks nice on the paper, it will generally sound nice in real life. So now here's a little exercise where we simply create a rhythm. So let's have a crotchet. Let's have 2 quavers. Let's have a minim. There we are. That's 1 bar. And we'll have a couple more quavers. And again, we'll finish the 2nd bar with a minim. Now, this is me being fairly random, but I know that that will sound good because I'm going to try it. There we are. I like that rhythm. And I'm going to now transfer that into a melody. And again, just using a few little tricks. So there is my leading note going back to C. Of course, you could have used B, C below if you wanted, and you don't have to use the leading note. It just happens to work. So we'll start there. And now what I think I'll do is I'm going to go down to G. G is an important note in C major, but we won't go into that just now, but I know that that's going to work. And then I think I'll just do a little leap here. So F to A, and then I've got my last 2 notes. So I'm just allowing a little bit of notes next to each other towards the end, and let's just see how that sounds. Yeah, I could even add some chords to that. I'm not expecting you to add chords to that, but I've been doing this for a very long time, so don't worry. But what I'd like you to do now is to take that video, watch it again if you need to, and create some melodies of your own. They need to be in C, they need to start and finish on a C, any rhythm you like, and make them 2 bars long. If you want to challenge yourself, do more. But as a minimum, I want you to do me 4 2-bar melodies. Good luck, and we'll look at those next Friday.